Virtual reality, or VR, is one of the most propitious emerging technologies for the future. So, what is it? VR is a computer-aided stimulus which creates an immersive illusion of being somewhere else. It merges the reality we experience through our five senses with a computer-generated virtual environment to experience, you guessed it, a virtual reality. Virtual reality is not to be confused with augmented reality, or AR, which is a technology that superimposes computer-generated perceptual information onto a user's view of the real world, like Pokemon Go. VR technology was spun off from Charles Wheatstone's research in understanding the brain process of interpreting images. Emerging VR technologies, in essence, emerged in the forms of the flight simulator and the head-mounted display, up until the name virtual reality was born and popularized in 1987 by Jaron Lanier. VR in 2018 is powered through Unity, a software used heavily by game developers for advanced 2D world rendering, but now for creating 3D technologies, such as VR. VR technology has begun to alter the way users interact with technology and is likely to disrupt different industries in the next 10 years. Entertainment and gaming is an obvious market where VR adds value, namely through integration in movie theaters, renovated arcades, and theme parks. Real estate and construction could benefit as well. Architects and brokers can use VR to project ideas and enhance the customer experience in browsing properties. Goldman Sachs' Global Investment Research Division indicated that real estate will be one of the first markets disrupted by VR technology. The third is industrials. Companies such as Boeing are starting to utilize VR technology to test prototypes in the virtual space rather than build physical models, saving the cost of up to $200 million per unit for Boeing. How about tourism and travel? Museums and travel agencies and countries have potential to completely alter the landscape of tourism through VR technology, increasing the possibility for periods of history to be experienced at any place and time. Medicine and VR technology provides the additional training capability for doctors to practice high-risk procedures in a safe virtual environment to increase the success rates. For retail, VR technology has also been implemented broadly in consumer products like the HTC Vive, Microsoft HoloLens, and PlayStation VR. But stores also add value to the customer experience through immersive and augmented forms of shopping. Other industries such as HR and information technology could put good use to VR as well. Across the implementation of VR as a whole, Michael Porter's famed 5 forces would prove helpful to outline the current status of virtual reality technology. Firstly, the creation of VR hardware and software currently involves large initial investments, and the industry has a present lack of content, resulting in high barriers to entry at the moment. However, with an increasing amount of established tech firms putting their own content in the industry, the cheaper standalone products coming to market, entry barriers are likely to weaken in the coming years. Facebook is leading the initiative with its $2 billion purchase of Oculus Rift VR technology company. Secondly, the current barriers have resulted in a limited amount of cost-effective applications in the market, decreasing the power of buyers. Thirdly, older methods might be preferred for their collaborative features and less clunky hardware until cost-efficient VR products become fully operational and marketed, thus increasing the current threat of substitutes. Lastly, many tech powerhouses such as Facebook and Samsung have begun producing their own versions of VR to complement their products, and content that is not too configurable to other products. This could provide a mainstream avenue for the technology and increase the power of suppliers. With all these potential gains from VR technology, what could people possibly say against its rise in their respective industries? Other than pricing limitations, critics say that the risks associated with erroneous VR technology, such as the inaccuracies in medical training, will increase liabilities exponentially. Furthermore, VR technology in the day-to-day work setting could lead to an increasingly sedentary lifestyle, which has already been a major concern in the overall application of technology in people's lives. However, despite these concerns, developers and entrepreneurs continue to explore the great potential of VR technology, for their benefits may not have been fully realized yet. Next steps for VR development could potentially include the release of smartphones that support VR apps, such as the development of Google Earth using VR. These would act as complements to technology like Oculus, in a way of mimicking AR synergy with smartphone technology. VR technology could also be a revolutionary factor in education, transforming the historical learning experience by immersing students in virtual recreations of historical events, and enhancing innovation and learning through developing virtual spaces for science and engineering classes to experiment and research in never-before-imagined ways. Overall, the worldwide virtual reality market was valued at around $2 billion in 2016, and is expected to reach approximately $27 billion by 2022, according to a Zion market research report. Whatever the growth statistics may be, virtual reality will be at the forefront of technological development in the upcoming decades, with great potential to alter the way users interact with technology, and has yet to impact industries ripe for disruption.